What are some of the ways you use targets to support your students' learning journey? What are some of the ways targets have been a setback for your students? How are targets decided? What are their benefits? How realistic are they? How can you use them to effectively inform your planning and secure great outcomes for your students? Target setting is an essential part of forward planning and is necessary for ensuring that students are achieving their true potential. Let's explore some ways of using targets productively for students' improvement and maximizing their potential. There are several terminologies surrounding targets. Let us explore 5 of these terminologies before discussing the targets and how they can be used. The first is baseline, and this is the achievement that students have had previously. It is historical and therefore it allows evaluation of progress made since. This can be the point of entry into early years and at different key stages of learning, as well as the start of this academic year. Target minimum is another, and this is the lowest band of your targets for students and what they're expected to achieve. Anything lower would be an underachievement. And then there is flight path. This is a breakdown of what students should achieve at different checkpoints throughout their learning journey, and it helps to monitor students and ensure that they're keeping on track. The next is aspirational targets, and this is usually the upper limits of targets that students are set, and therefore they are given a challenge that they can aspire towards. Then there is the most likely grade. This is what teachers predict that students will be able to achieve and is based on their current achievement, their curriculum coverage, and their attitude to learning. What, if any, are the importance of targets? It is essential to have goals to work towards so that planning can be put in place to achieve these goals. Targets enable all involved in teaching and learning process to track, monitor, analyze, and evaluate progress. The learning targets that are set should factor in knowledge mastery, reasoning, and application skills. They are beneficial in providing students with access to teaching groups, courses, universities, and the job market. They are used in a daily basis to set learning intentions, support with differentiation, guide formative assessment feedback, direct feed-forward activities, build students' confidence, and enhances their engagement in their learning. How does targets and learning intentions partner? When teachers are very familiar with the targets of their students, it informs their planning and hence guides the learning intentions of every lesson and the resources needed to facilitate the learning of students in order to achieve their best outcomes. Teachers are more adept with assessing prerequisites, adapting learning, guiding the next steps in learning, and giving students opportunities for deeper learning through the use of higher order thinking questions and activities when they are familiar with and aware of students' targets and what is required in terms of their learning intentions to get them there. How does feedback and feed forward assist in achieving targets? Feedback looks at what students have achieved and how well they have achieved these learning criteria and gives some needed support. Feed forward looks at teachers providing students with appropriate next steps in their learning based on the feedback that they were given. It therefore means that teachers need to be using students' targets to support their learning in such a way that bridges gaps in their learning and pushes them towards achieving their realistic goals. Therefore, feedback and feed forward both play a significant role in students achieving their targets. What role does motivation and engagement plays in target realization? Students have a part to play in realizing their potential in every arena. When teachers are aware of students' targets and use them in conversations, generally as a learning group and individually, it increases students' interest and piques their curiosity as they see what is demanded for respective targets. This also keeps students more engaged in the learning process when they are given the necessary tools and equipment required for them to be able to achieve those requirements to meet those targets. Of course, simply knowing their targets and the requirements will not motivate and engage if they cannot see how, or if they lack the skills to get from where they are to where they need to be. Hence, breaking targets down into yearly increments could help make it less daunting for learners, and more teacher accountability could be achieved because teachers will now be more responsible for their leg of students' learning journey. Hence, provide more progressive checks and in-class support that is needed to support students in achieving their targets in each learning sitting. Using students' targets need to be an organic process for teachers and embraced by students. They provide a minimum focus for learning, especially in times when concepts are harder to grasp than in others. It reminds both teachers and students what the primary mission is and directs their focus. It is imperative that targets are reasonable and soundly ascertained, free of implicit bias, and realistic for students and teachers. What are some of the ways you use targets to support your students' learning journey? What are some of the ways targets have been a setback for your students?